Okay, so I really did not expect to have this many retellings on my shelf, and still there are some that I really don't know if they would count in retellings or not. Namaste guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Divya and I make videos book related. So if you're new to my channel, please do hit the subscribe button. So I recently started reading retellings and I am just in love with them. So when I first got the news that authors are actually making retellings and into like there's a particular story and they are retelling that and making into their own new story, I was really skeptical because I really am a person of original lover of the stories, and I never thought that they would actually make them this good. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing you the retellings the I have on my shelf, and some of them I have read and some of them I haven't read, and some of them are the ones that I really did not like. So let's head on to the video. So the first book that I have not read and I recently got, if you have watched my book haul that I uploaded last month, is The Light of the Midnight Stars by Rena Rosner. So this is a retelling of King Solomon. So I really don't know exactly the story of King Solomon other than the basics, but it's like a romance retelling of King Solomon that, yeah. So I have not read this book yet, but I am planning to read it like next month or next to next month whenever I got time from the other books and review copies I have. So this is the spellbinding tale of love and loss, sisterhood and the tangled threads of fate. So the author is the same for the book The Sister of the Winter Wood that I have again heard marvelous reviews of. So I hope I get to read this book soon, but this is the first retelling on my shelf. So the next book, again I have not read this book, but I have received this book in, I guess, my last year, the big book box. So this is the All the Ever Afters by Danielle Taylor, and this is the untold story of Cinderella's stepmother. So Cinderella is like everyone's dream story and a really good Disney fairy tale, or just a fairy tale if you really don't know the Grimm's original fairy tale story. So it's a really good. So this story is like, we all know the story of Cinderella, or do we? As rumors about the cruel upbringing of the beautiful newly wed Princess Cinderella roil the kingdom, her stepmother Agnes privately records the true story, her own. So a compelling fiction often obscure the humble truth. So I'm actually really looking forward to read this book, and actually I had made plans a couple of times to read this book, but yet again with the new books coming and we always forgot to read what we wanted to read. So I hope I get to also read this book soon. So the next book on my shelf, this is third book again that I have actually read and reviewed a couple of times on my channel also, that is The Surface Break by Lewis O'Neill. And if you have watched my mini reviews video, you might know that I really did not like this book. So this is like a feminist retelling of Little Mermaid with just really so many feminist elements that I really don't see them exactly as a feminist elements. So it's the story of this book is just the same as The Little Mermaid, but as this book is a feminist retelling of The Little Mermaid, the man in, like, all the men in this book are shitty. They often do things like, and the woman betraying woman, woman belittling woman, this all sort of things in there. So it's a really simple book with simple flow and just an abrupt ending. So I really did not like the book, but yeah, the cover page and the hardback copy with the actually fishtail spine is really pretty. So this was the third book on my shelf in the retelling section. Now the next one is a series that I have openly talked about my dislike for. So you might know or might not know by now, is the ACOTAR series, A Court of Thorns and Roses, which have recently gotten 2 more books. Yeah, so these are the 4 books that I own in this series, even though I did not like the book. Fun thing is that I haven't read the book, I haven't read the reviews, but all over booktube and bookstagram, people are just talking, raving about this series and still are. So I actually got this again. I think there was this book box, I think they have shut down. I really don't remember the name. Also story something was the name. So I got this series from them. This was from the Lock or Load the Box sale. I got it, and this whole series from them. And as soon as I read the first book, the first chapter, I was really like disappointed. This book is really not the good. Now many people have told me that you should read the second book, as the second book is a good, like the first book is a disaster, but from the second book the actual story starts and real good. But I really don't know if I'm going to continue this. But as I've bought that again, as I've always says, I did this for Shadow and Bone trilogy also, I might read this book, but I really don't know when. So this book is like sorry, I forgot to mention what retelling this book is. So this book is retelling of Beauty and the Beast kind of theme. As the main hero in this book, the hero changes in the second book, but I'm not going to tell you about that. So the book, the female lead in this book is Fairy, who is a huntress, and the male lead is Tamlin, who is a fairy who can turn into a werewolf because of a curse, and who always grows. I really don't get the match of the whole thing. And this is a new adult book, and I think many people like this series because of that, because it has really spicy details about all of the things, and most of the time they are doing that only, nothing else. So this is that Fairy is a huntress. She knows nothing but slaughtering a wolf to capture its prey, but the wolf she killed this time was actually a fae who was underling of Tamlin, and because of there is this pact between the two lands, she has to go to the fairy land as a depth, because she has killed or injured that fae wolf who was cursed to become a wolf because of he was a fae, something like that. And there the slow burning love and secrets started to happen, unfold. So this book is about that. And the second book, her love interest changes and so on, but I really don't know if I'm going to complete this book. But this 4 books are the next one on my shelf as a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So the next book on my shelf as a retelling is The Gloaming by Christy Logan. So I haven't again read this book. So this book, I really don't know the exact name of this retelling or the story of this, because I have actually seen this story about which this retelling is in Pokemon. So this fun thing that a girl cries on the cliff for her lost lover, who was actually in army or had gone in the navy and had gone to the war and never came back, and she was about to get married to him when he returns, or was already married and widowed of her. So she used to wait for her at the cliff, and in the course of waiting and waiting, she actually got frustrated and jumped from the cliff and died. I only remembered this story from Pokemon actually, because I really remembered that episode of that. So after reading the blurb, I actually remembered that story. So I think this is the retelling of that story. So in here, the story is about Mara, is an island, is one of the stories of magic, but every story ends in the same way. She will finish her days on the cliff, turned to stone and gazing out at the horizon like all the islanders before her. Mara's parents, a boxer and a ballerina, chose this enchanted place as a refuge from the turbulence of their previous lives. They wanted to bring up their children somewhere special and safe, but the island and the sea don't care what happened to people, and when they claim a prize from her family, Mara's world unravels. It takes the arrival of Pearl, a mysterious and irresistible, to light a spark in Mara again and allow her to consider a different story for herself. So after hearing this, you might it sounds the same, the story I have talked about, a woman on the cliff, and this. So again, I got this book in actually that box was a retelling box from TBB, the big book box, and I also got this book. Again, the cover page is really amazing. This is not like a dust jacket, it's a hardback copy, but it does not have a dust jacket. It's only on the hardback, only the cover page, and it's really gorgeous. So the last book on my shelf as retelling is For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. So this book is, of course, you can guess from the cover page and For the Wolf and everything, and the scenery going on here is, it's a retelling of the Little Red Riding Hood, and absolutely loved this book. There were some unnecessary chapters and some unnecessary descriptions in this book, but I really love the mysterious writing style and the whole world building. So yeah, I really love this book. I recently read this book last month, and it only recently released on 2nd or 1st of June 2021, I guess. So the story is, the first daughter is for the throne and the second daughter is for the wolf. So when the kings went into this winter wood, they made a pact, and there was this woman and a man who were running from this kings, 5 kings, and they made a pact with this winter wold to keep them safe from the king, as the woman was actually betrothed to one of the king. So for this pact, the winter wold, I guess, made them captive in its wood, and they have to live there. And some things happen. I'm not going to relive everything here, but things happen and this pact become actually deadly, and this actually turned out to become from generation to generation that in couple of years the second daughter of the kingdom has to go, which is for the wolf. People actually thought that it as a sacrifice, that she would be killed, be consumed by the wolf and everything, but for them the return of the kings were more important than the life of the second daughter, and the first daughter is for the throne. Then the first daughter should be on the throne as the queen. So there's also a strong sibling bonding in this book, that two sisters love dearly each other, and I know there's going to be a second book, and this is going to be For the Throne. Yep, For the Throne is going to be the next book in the series, which I think going to be released next month or by the end of this month only. So this was the last book, that is the retelling of the Little Red Riding Hood, on my shelf. So these are all the books that are on my shelf as the retellings, and some of them I have read and some of them I haven't, but I do think there are a couple of more, like some fantasy and mythological fiction, and I googled it knowing that if they fall under in mythological fiction or retellings, and people are just, I don't know what they are saying. Some says retelling, some saying mythological fiction. So for me, I have kept them in mythological fiction only, not in the retellings. So I hope you do like this video. Do comment in the comment section if you want more kind of these videos, or what genre of the books or any specific book collection that you would like to see on my shelf. So goodbye till the next video.